Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on things happening in and around the city as we remember soldiers who lost their lives while serving in the U.S. military on this Memorial Day weekend. We realize that Memorial Day is also the unofficial beginning of summer. So there's plenty to look forward to as the city continues to open back up. My first guest is Claire Koenig. She's the communications director at Visit Milwaukee. Hey, Claire.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Of
And of
course.
course, there's been a lot going on. Visit Milwaukee is a community asset that markets the destination as a top choice for business, convention, and leisure travel to national and international visitors to increase the economic impact of tourism here in our region. And we know that 2020 really put that mission on pause in a lot of ways and interrupted the cash flow that was coming in economically due to tourism. So, talk a little bit
Yeah,
about just battling through the past year and where we are now.
sure. Well, as expected, the data about 2020 was horrible. The data about tourism in 2020 was horrible, but we knew that. We knew that's how it would be. We heard every day from restaurants, from hotels, how close they were to shutting down, how they had to shut down or temporarily close because there was little to no travel throughout 2020. One amazing thing we realized, though, is that there was a lot of local spending. So that meant that campaigns like ones that we did, ones like other community organizations did to encourage that local spending, that probably kept a lot of local businesses going when it could have been a lot worse. So people were still ordering takeout instead of cooking every single meal. Maybe they were taking a staycation if they could. And that truly did help keep the doors open and the lights on at a lot of local businesses.
And just looking at some of those numbers, direct visitor spending was down nearly 40%, which is the second steepest in the state behind Dane County. And this loss resulted in a 28.4% decline in hospitality jobs last year. And those jobs included dishwashers, servers, hotel sales staff, and front desk personnel, which
Yeah.
was devastating. And then sale and local taxes generated from tourism was down 32.05%.
Yep.
So the goal in 2021, needless to say, is to kind of come back the best way we can to generate those dollars that were lost, right?
Definitely. To put those numbers in perspective, in 2019, tourism brought about $5.9 billion to the greater Milwaukee area. For us, that means the four-county area, Milwaukee, and then Waukesha, Ozaukee, Washington. But 5.9 billion, that is huge. Of course, that is much down in 2020. That number was 4.3 billion for the greater Milwaukee area. In 2019, all of that tourism money supported over 53,000 jobs. Again, and like you said, that's everyone from front desk staff to the cleaning staff to bartenders, restaurant servers, hotel GMs, all the way up. 53,000 plus. That number is down by just over 25%. That is still a lot. That's still thousands of people unemployed in hospitality because of the pandemic. So that can kind of put in the perspective. And also, I should say, in 2019, that number is a number that would go up maybe between 3 and 5% each year for the last 8 years. So we were seeing, around about the last decade, steadily increased tourism, more attractions. Of course, our restaurant scene just gets better every year. Like, we were really enjoying some great and long-standing tourism success. Of course, 2020 again completely halted that, but also every other destination is in the same boat too. Well, most of the other metropolitan destinations are in the same boat too.
Yeah, and we all understand how and why, but
Yeah,
you can see what a huge blow that was,
right.
guys were a huge part of, trying to get Milwaukee to be the host city. And then out of nowhere, something that none of us could do anything about. So
Yeah.
that's one that will probably take a while to get over, right?
Right. Yeah. But I mean, things are looking better. I mean, there are certainly brighter days ahead. We know that for a fact. And they are maybe going to be a little sooner than we thought. Um, Tourism Economics, which is a research firm that helps come up with this data and also does some predictions, they are now saying that leisure travel, so that's you and me taking vacations, going to weddings around the country, etc., that will return to 2019 levels as early as 2022. That is about a year earlier than anyone was thinking it would return, even 6 months ago. So, and I think that is a testament to how amazing Wisconsin's vaccine rollout has been, and then the rollout around the rest of the country.
Yes, and with that said, there's good news. Summerfest and the Wisconsin State Fair, they both have announced that they plan to return this year.
Yep.
And there's like you said, a lot more on the horizon as Milwaukee's mask mandate is lifted on June 1st. And of
Mhm.
course, there are still important guidelines for people to keep in mind when it comes to county facilities and places like restaurants or even the Fiserv Forum. Those type of
Yep.
places can set their own requirements, but Visit Milwaukee recently launched a new advertising campaign that
Mhm.
positions Milwaukee as a bold and modern destination that's ready to safely host meetings and events,
Mhm.
not only now, but 2022 and thereafter, right?
Yes, this was a campaign targeted for meeting planners, meeting and convention planners, telling them all about one, the amazing things still in Milwaukee. We still have an insanely amazing dining scene. We still have natural assets that make meeting attendees have an even better time while they're here. Like they can take a riverboat cruise, they can go to a beach while they're here. We have all of these amenities coupled with some fantastic facilities. And then on the horizon, of course, is the convention center expansion in 2024. And we are doing a whole lot of talking about that expansion to planners from around the country to get them very excited for it. I mean, they're already booking their events into the expanded convention center, and we want to make sure that it is packed full as that reopening gets closer.
Yeah. And so when you talk about expansions, what are some of the things that people will notice about the Wisconsin Center that's different?
Yeah. While they're adding an entirely new ballroom, they're adding over 100,000 square feet of exhibition hall space. That's the space where, the really, really big meetings, the car shows, that they can utilize that space. But one of the most important things that this expansion will enable is for large meetings to happen concurrently. And so we don't have that in the current convention center, but we will have that starting in 2024. And the renderings that are out now, they also just released a fly-through video where it looks like you're exploring the whole expanded center. That came out this week. Highly encourage you to check it out because we are using it to get planners even more excited about all of the potential that this expansion brings.
Yeah, and obviously you guys have been super busy. Visit Milwaukee also recently announced the official launch of Sports Milwaukee, and I'm interested in hearing more about that.
Well, so we know that we are a sports town. Like we have 12 colleges and universities in the area. We have two major professional sports teams. We are still home to two of MVPs. Like we are very much a sports town. And each year, we are getting more interest in major sports events. We still have the Ryder Cup happening this September. This August, we still have USA Triathlon's Age Group National Championships. This is one of their biggest events. This will be here this August, and then they will also come back next year. Those are both huge sports events. looking ahead a little into 2022, we've got US speed skating's long track team trials coming back to the Pettit Center. That's an Olympic qualifying event. Really important. And in addition to like the actual money it generates in hotel rooms, restaurant spending, Uber fares, it also generates a lot of international media coverage, which just makes it easier to sell Milwaukee to other sports events planners. So knowing we already have a really good base of sports interest in Milwaukee, and we have the facilities to accommodate all of these amazing events, we are just dedicating even more resources to promoting Milwaukee as an amazing sports destination. That's what this division does. And then it works with a committee of sports event planning professionals from all around the city, all related to the professional teams, the colleges, the big venues. So it is a really great group, all with one goal of bringing more sports events to Milwaukee.
I love it all. So the 2021 Ryder Cup still happening in Whistling Straits, and that will have a $70 million estimated economic impact. That's huge. And then in 2022, the NCAA Division I men's basketball first and second rounds will be at the Fiserv Forum. So I don't know if it gets better than that, other than the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks are in the first round of the playoffs right now. And every time that happens, there is a huge boost for downtown, if nothing else, right?
Indeed. So what we know is pre-pandemic, so you take this with a grain of salt. Pre-pandemic, each Bucks home playoff game would bring about $3 million to the community. And that's in all the spending around the arena. Again, the hotel fares, the restaurant bills, and all the trickle down from that. I can't say what, Monday's game would bring, but that is a good barometer, also knowing there are capacity restrictions which will affect that. But with those capacity restrictions loosening very soon, maybe we will be back to those pre-pandemic numbers if the run continues.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled that we're able to even be in a facility, together. So whatever guidelines, I'm all about that. So is there anything else that you would like to share with us in regards to Visit Milwaukee and some of the things that you have going on in the near future?
Well, I will say we hosted a couple of weeks ago, we hosted the first hospitality vaccination day, kind of a drive at the Wisconsin Center. We were encouraging hospitality employees to come get vaccinated. We are hosting another one of those this Friday, the 28th. Again, urging hospitality workers to come out. I mean, we know that visitors will feel even more comfortable if they can come to the community where they can be pretty sure that most of the people helping, make their experience amazing at a local restaurant are going to be vaccinated. They don't have to worry about getting sick. We are giving away a whole bunch of gift cards for people who do come out and get vaccinated. So that's a nice little added bonus. And then we have a couple more vaccine drives planned in the coming weeks, which I will send you all sorts of info about.
Of course, and we'll definitely cover it. So thanking you so much for taking the time out to talk to us and give us this very important update, because so much has happened, and to know that everything's getting back on track, it is refreshing and a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it is the positive news we've needed, for 15 months.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Claire. Take care.
Of course. Yeah, have a good one.
Claire Koenig is the communications manager for Visit Milwaukee. And if you'd like more information on anything we've talked about, you can visit their website at visitmilwaukee.org or call 1-800-554-1448. We're going to take a quick break. And when we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll check in with my friend Beth Wyrick from Milwaukee Downtown Business Improvement District number 21. We'll be right back.
Cancer doesn't wait, neither should you. We know COVID-19 is on everyone's mind right now.
But that doesn't mean you should neglect your routine health care. It's important to take care of yourself by doing regular cancer screenings. Screening checks your body for cancer before you have symptoms.
Regular screening tests may find breast, cervical, and colon cancers early, when treatment is likely to work best.
Lung cancer screening is recommended for some people who are at high risk.
Talk with your doctor now about when and how often you should be screened before you develop symptoms.
If you're having symptoms, take action now and call a doctor.
Finding cancer early improves your chances of living longer.
Make sure to ask your doctor about the steps they're taking to keep you safe during visits.
Remember, cancer doesn't wait.
For more information, visit cdc.gov/cancer. This message is brought to you by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, American Cancer Society, and the National Comprehensive Cancer Network.